And so we understand that we have to always take the time to know that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our health. We have to learn how to water fast. We have to learn how to eat. Now, some real interesting things have come across my table. And, I've done a lot of lectures over on other platforms for the last few years. And I've been lecturing and exercising online and doing different things that are great, making great music. And I enjoy all of the things I do. And I'm learning to start honing in on this wonderful wonderland called social media that has played so handsomely into my natural propensity to produce. And when I produce, good things happen. But I produce and good things happen because I devote myself to the space that I'm in. I take the time out to devote myself fully into what I'm into with expectation. So when we do what we do, we have to move with expectation. I can only talk from personal experience. When I set my expectations high, things move better. When I set my expectations toward what I'm after, things solidify faster. When I'm in meditation and I visualize, I pre-pave where I'm about to go. I pre-pave. And what does pre-paving mean? Pre-paving means that you take the time out to set the intention up that you plan on having happen. And I realized once I started pre-paving in my 20s and 30s that I had been pre-paving. Pre-paving is how I got that exceptionally gorgeous girl back in high school. Pre-paving is how I ended up hanging out with the popular person at the in the music industry or at the parties. Pre-paving is how I ended up DJing the parties and being a focal point or center of attention. So pre-paving is very important. Now, what is pre-paving? Well, pre-paving happens right here, and it also happens when you're in your meditation. As a teenager, meditation wasn't my thing. However, I spent long periods of time alone, and many times I thought about what I would do the next day. That was a form of pre-paving. I thought about, hey, you know something? I'm here at a high school. It's a school full of jocks. It's a bunch of football and basketball players. And hell, I love football and basketball, but I'm really into music right now. So, I mean, what am I going to do? You know something? Tomorrow, I think I'm going to go talk to Mr. Jackson and see if I can get the school key for one of the classrooms. Because I know Joseph plays trumpet. I know Terrence plays trumpet. I know that Billy plays keys. And before you know it, I had the whole band in my head at rehearsal in a classroom. And it was outside of trying to do a pep rally or some other reason that the band would form. And I talked to Mr. Jackson that next day. And Jackson said, you know something? Let me see what I could do. He talked to the principal, and before you know it, within a couple of days, we had an after-school key to the class so that we could rehearse as a band. And that started a music program. Hence, I got a music award for kind of putting a program that would happen after school together. But I wasn't really thinking program more so than I was thinking, man, I got to make a space for myself. And how do I do that? Well, let me talk to somebody. So pre-paving your way into your day is so important. So what do you do when you pre-pave? A lot of times I go butterfly catching. What is butterfly catching, you ask? Butterfly catching is when you feel it in your stomach. A lot of times what you really want is behind your biggest fear. And so you have to get out and catch butterflies. So I'm going to keep it simple. When you think about, hey, should I do that? And your body feels normal. And then you say, well, maybe I should do that. And then your body feels a little bit uneasy. And you say, okay. Well, when you feel a little uneasy because you said I should do that, then go one step further. And if that makes me feel a little uneasy, let me do that. And when you get that shake come up in your body, you're like, ah, that's it. That's it. When you feel that nervousness, that's it. One of my biggest lectures is when I ended up in my biggest crisis There's so many crises in the music industry and the film industry, but in my crisis, when I first tried to do film and produced my first music video, I ran out of money in the middle of color correction. And this is before all this digital equipment. I blew a bunch of money. I had to think quick. They were holding my masters. I had to go out into the night and figure it out. I ended up having to talk to Ice Cube. I had to go onto a movie set, the movie set of Fridays, and literally cross a bunch of boundaries I wouldn't usually cross. In the middle of crisis, your body steps up to the plate and you feel that sick feeling, and then you pre-pave immediately. So pre-paving isn't something that you just have to do the night before. If you're in a serious situation, you can pre-pave on the spot. Say you have to fight multiple people and it's only you and you have no way out. You have to visualize what you're going to do right as you do it. Even at one time, I was behind the barrel of a gun. I remember I just quit drinking. I was about 5 years not drinking because I haven't drank in decades now. But I was 5 years sober. And I said, you know something? I haven't seen none of my friends, none of the homies in a while. Let me pull over and just say hi to everybody before I go to this party. I had on rope, jewelry, had on my silk shirt, had on my pants. I was ready to go out. I seen the homies. I pulled over and started shaking hands. And while I was shaking hands, cars was coming behind us. When I turned around, it was guns pointed all at us. Guns everywhere. Probably 5 cars to 7 cars of people all had guns on us. And all of my buddies had the guns in the trees and the bushes thinking there would be police that rolled on them. But we got rolled on by another gang, another group. Luckily, the person they was looking for was in a Cadillac across the street smoking some drugs, and they spotted him. But before they spotted him, in the midst of the gun drawdown, time slowed down for me. Without me trying to do it, everything moved slower because I was thinking fast. The pre-paving was happening without me even trying. And now I went numb. I was ready to take a bullet, but also deliver damage. And it was happening without me even touching it. So when I finally saw The Matrix, which would come out years later, and I saw the guy go backwards and dodge the bullets, I realized that they got that idea because somebody had been in a crisis, in an absolute life or death crisis, and that slow motion probably hit them. So many things that we do and create are based on real things. When you take time to pre-pave, you also want to know that if you have to, you'll visualize and move right into action. At those times, I want you to trust yourself. Trust yourself. That's another part of it. You got to trust yourself. Because when you trust yourself, you allow yourself to be fluid and be in motion. So we do what we want to do. We do what we have to do because being a man is not easy. Being a woman isn't easy. We pre-pave the things that we want to make happen. And then we put that intention in the air and we get about doing it. Okay? The whole time we understand that we need time to get where we're going. So we also want to implement things that are going to get us in a healthier space. Okay? Many different people do it different ways. It may be meditation. Maybe it's walking meditation. Maybe it's fasting. Maybe it's weightlifting. Maybe you like me and you love to meditate in a jacuzzi, in the steam room. Meditation while you're actually lifting weights. Either way you like to do it, it's a pleasure for me to talk to you and to just break the ice with my first official YouTube Just Talk Shit. It's good to be here. Many times I'll just talk like this. I like this. There's other times when I'll be a lot louder But right now, I'm actually in a home and there are other people around. I'm not necessarily in my studio. This is a studio that happens at home. Here is books all over the place. There's books to the ceiling. There's equipment around, beautiful things, and my bass, my custom bass is here because I'm a bass designer too. And it's a warm place. And I like talking and getting with people. So in these podcasts and these casts that I break down, I want you to understand who I am and what I am before I talk about my companies, before I talk about the things that I do just professionally. Understand this. We have something to do. The shit is not easy. We have what it takes to do it, but we have to be dedicated to the moment. We have to be dedicated to the space that we're in. And then we have to understand bona fide ways to get to the next moment. It's moment to moment. It's moment to moment. This thing may not be a 1 day or 1 hour thing. You may have to just make sure every second you're dedicating yourself to things to get things done. And I want to move through in my own heart. I want to move through with determination, but I want to move through in total calm as I do it. I don't need to get super angry, super serious. We could do this in joy. We could do this in joy. We can raise our vibration and raise where we are. And we can move to higher heights while being in good spaces inside because it's just healthier. It's just healthier. When it's time for cortisol and adrenaline and absolute aggression, it could be life or death. But I want you to be able to operate at that high level, even without having a gun in your face. And this is why we're here. We're here to ponder the different ways to achieve those highs. We're here to ponder the different ways to make those things happen. You see different people doing different things, and everybody has great points. We're here to embrace the pain. And we're here to be high-octane humans, doing the best that we can do in the time that we're here. This is what it's all about. My name is Victor Taylor. Recap. Visualize. Pre-pave your moments. Understand the overview we have to maintain good health. When you're in your task, pre-pave your days. Believe in yourself and trust yourself. And get into action. Moodovation. High level input.